Yeah, I'm rusty. It's been a while since I've done this. All right, I think we're good to go now. All right, if you guys are seeing this on my timeline, I appreciate you watching. I'm here with my man Corey Meeker, Mr. Fuck Average, be legendary on the shirt. So he's lost a good amount of, fat working with me. He's had some type of a body recomposition process over the past 4 months. So I wanted to get him on here to really talk to you guys more about how he did it. And, he's not an athlete full time. He's not a bodybuilder. He's not somebody who has like hours a day to dedicate to this area of his life. It's something that, he does outside of work. And I wanted to I wanted him to tell you guys his story and kind of reflect on that with you guys. So Corey, thanks for joining me here, taking the time out your busy day right after our check-in to talk to the folks about this, man. I appreciate you coming on here. So why don't you give them like a little bit of background about like who you are, what you do for work, what your lifestyle is currently like? Because I know a lot of people who are busy are probably looking at that like, yeah, it's good for him, but I there's no way I could have the time for that type of thing, or I'm too stressed with work, or whatever the case is. And maybe you've said some of those same things. Why don't you go ahead and tell them like what type of stuff you're dealing with and who you are.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm in a sales position, helping real estate investors throughout the country with their marketing efforts and an effort to find off-market property. And in doing so, I have an office space. I'm on the phone. I got appointments throughout the day from 8 to 5, like clockwork. So I'm pretty busy. I travel about once to twice a month, speaking at different venues in the real estate space. So like being dialed in with my food, and then also with my workouts, sometimes it's challenging because I'm always on the go, but it's important to me because like how I am physically is a direct reflection on how I perform, outside of life with it, whether it's work, relationships, my relationship with my wife, with my friends, and all that I do. It's all kind of encompassing with how I feel about myself, because at the end of the day, how I feel about myself is how I'm going to feel whenever I'm out here doing what I'm doing in terms of living. When I met Dallas, it was like, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. Dallas and I, we were going back and forth on Facebook Messenger. He'd shoot me just like some follow-up, like, hey, bro, how you doing? And I'd shoot him a message here and there. And then I always had local trainers because like I always had this mindset, how's a dude in New Jersey going to help me living in St. Louis? He's not here. How's he going to help? So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to hit him up to see about coaching me. So I went through many different trainers, probably about 6, in the last 2-3 years. And then I would never, ever, ever re-enroll after a program was over, just because, it was cool. It was all right. It wasn't really like, write home to mom about the successes that I've had. Right. So like, I just didn't enroll. I just find somebody else and just keep my education moving, because you don't just read one book. Right. But Dallas, after we did our first 16 weeks, I'm like, oh my God, like from an accountability standpoint, like I'm literally still taken back to this day. Dallas, this dude hit up my wife when I was ghosting him while I was on a trip. Like, where's Corey at? He's not logging his food. He ain't logging his workouts. What's he doing? And like, you don't find that anywhere else. And like, that shit means the world to me, and just that in it. Yep. And then, yeah, but bro, since we started working together, like, just like from the accountability standpoint, not to mention like dialing in my food timing, what I'm eating, how I'm eating, my workout plan that's specific, tailored around me, my goals, the equipment that I have access to. Like, it's all like, it's not like in most cases I find like it's like a copy and paste, copy and paste. Because like there's no one program that's just for everybody, because everybody's a little bit unique. And that's probably what I like the most about working with you, Dallas, is that specifically. It's like, all right, Corey, where are you at? Where do you want to be? And I say, and then you say, okay, this is exactly what you need to do. And here's how it's done. And then I just go through the app that you provide, bro. And I get that daily check mark box, check, just increasing confidence right there out of the gate. And then little small wins, dude, day in and day out, turns into weeks. And before you know it, I'm walking around here where I was at 20% body fat. Now I'm down to 14%. My wife can't keep her hands off me. I can't hardly walk through the store without somebody approaching me,
Big, bro. Get big, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh no, Dallas, like folks at the gym are like, bro, you're leaning out. You look really good. For real? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
You know?
good. That's good, man. First of all, well, I appreciate all the kind words, but no, I think that's important. So like backing up a little bit, you talked about traveling a lot, and you're talking about like we've been going back and forth over Messenger for 2-3 years now. And dude, I remember seeing you post about your meal prep. So I never really thought much of it. I'm like, yeah, Corey's dialed in with his health, fitness. Like, I don't, yeah, he probably doesn't need help with this. But come to find out, when we like peeled back the layers and we took a peek behind the curtain, I remember you telling me, yeah, you'd go hard for a few months, but then like when you would travel or something, you would get right off your game. So why don't you talk to them a little bit about that all or nothing mentality that kind of wasn't serving you in the past, and like how that kind of, I guess, kept you from getting to your goals at this point?
Yep. So like my wife and I, we've been meal prepping for a few years. So we're pretty dialed in terms of like just saving time by meal prepping together. But not so much in terms of like our macros being on point and shit like that. But whenever I'd go out of town, I didn't meal prep for out of town. And then like clockwork, I find myself like I go hard when I go out of town, or I used to. And then like it was like near impossible to get back in the gym after stopping my routine. And then like before I knew it, Dallas, like a month or two could pass, and I look down on the couch and I'm looking down on my belly and I could grab it. And I'm like, where the hell did this come from? Because like when you're a high producing, high moving, sales professional, like time zips by before you even know it. It's gone and you're fat all of a sudden. And I don't like that. Yeah, but now with traveling, because like with you, Dallas, like, you kind of made me more mindful in what I'm ordering, and two, like whenever I'm logging everything, like as long as I'm logging everything, I don't have to eat like super duper clean. I can still like reward myself and eat regular food, just long as everything's in line, like you taught me, like it's okay. I'm not a shit bum. You can still go out and eat and be successful at this, and then,
yeah. And I know you're a little bit extreme. Like, I don't think most people would be willing to do this, but we've had plenty of conversations about, dude, I will literally pack my meal prep and put them on the plane. Me and wifey will put our meal preps on the plane, and we'll do that. And we'll just eat those at the conference, or we'll eat those at the function. But I think you've also like learned how to eat at restaurants a little bit better and be more mindful, like you said, or when you don't do that, because that's not always going to be the case. Like you're going to go to a conference and they're going to have, pretty bad foods, probably going to have some good stuff too, but it's up to you in that moment to make the decision. And I guess understand, even if you do make the bad decision, how it can work into the frameworks of what we're doing nutrition wise. So I think, you've definitely learned that a lot. But where would you say you were at, like before we started working together, like in terms of fitness, energy, like stuff like that?
I didn't have as much energy as I do now, because you pointed this out. You were like, and it was like the simplest of things that I was just overlooking, like the quality of my sleep. What time am I drinking coffee? When's my last cup? Like just doing just a few small tweaks that you've told me, like I'm sleeping better. I don't drink coffee afternoon, and then I go to bed a little bit earlier instead of fooling around on Facebook or watching Netflix or whatever. I just go to bed a little bit earlier, and then and it's been helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. So more energy. I guess you're just like the small thing. Like, yeah, we're not making it out to be rocket science. It's just like stuff we can all do, but it's just stuff that most people maybe aren't mindful of, or just like don't see the trade-off of not sleep, not spending that extra hour on Facebook and going to bed earlier, or like drinking the coffee at 2 p.m. instead of cutting it off at 11 or 12 or something like that. How these like small levers can make big changes in terms of results and just like how you're feeling on a daily basis. So yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Were you talked about, like when we first connected, you were kind of like, yeah, I'll go with some people who are local. Were you like a little resistant that I was like an online coach trying to help you with this kind of thing?
100%, Dallas. I didn't see how you can provide any value in my life if you're not in the same gym as me, working out with me, and we can't talk. But it's like, it's so much different. It's like quite the opposite, frankly. Like you and I talk more often than I have with any trainer that I've ever had in my whole life. I mean, even with like form, like I thought, like, how's this dude gonna help me with form if he's in fucking New Jersey? But I send you a video and you're like, yeah, bro, bend your legs, or don't bend your legs, or extend all the way. Like just make this small tweak, and it's been super helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, man. I mean, I get why people say that, because I used to be a trainer too. So I used to I know what it's like to have somebody in your face kind of motivating you. And don't get me wrong, that's probably the better route for some people. But I mean, for you, maybe it wasn't, right? Because I know you hadn't had success with the local trainers in your area, and maybe it was the trainer, maybe it was just the nature of the business, right? And how they were able to support you. But what was it that actually made you decide to get started? Because you're kind of saying, hey, I was skeptical of you being online and being in New Jersey, whatever the case may be. What was it that kind of took you over that hump and said, maybe I'll give this a go? Like maybe this actually can help me.
Yeah, it had to been because I've been following your content forever. You know what I mean? And then too, like, I mean, you'd still circle up on me, and ask me how things are doing way more often than even like a dude that I was paying to do that exact thing. And then I was like, you know what, man? Because like I was nearing the end of a contract with my last trainer. And then it was kind of really weird. I don't know, it was like a weird breakup. I kind of just hired Dallas before that contract was over with, just because like the dude was kind of absent. He was only there like giving me the workout. I don't know. There wasn't really much one-on-one or connection. I didn't feel like he was invested as much as I was invested in myself, that he was in myself too. So it was just like conflict. But
I actually forgot that I forgot about that. That is why you got started. I remember having that conversation with you. You're like, hey, just don't think it's working, or sound like a bad breakup for sure. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Dallas, you gave me some pointers too, like throughout our back and forth, like you gave me some pointers that I never got from anybody else, and you were asking for nothing. And Dallas, you never even said, hey man, do you need a personal trainer? I'd be happy to help you. Not a single time. I hit you up and I'm like, hey bro, what does it look like to work with you? And then we went through the enrollment process. Everything was all good. I was like, man, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to see what happens. And the best fucking decision I've ever made in my whole life. And mind you, that's why I got you for the next year, bro. Let's go.
You're a clown, man. I appreciate you saying that. But
yeah.
Now transitioning to that, right? Like, yeah, now we're doing this long term. Your first 16 weeks, obviously, you've put on. I guess you've lost. I could pull up the charts actually.
Yeah, show them.
I'll pull up the charts. So if we look at your actual progress, let me share my screen here.
Oh, don't show that one. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, we got some pics. Yeah, he's looking ripped as hell here. But we look at the weight, right? I think we started at 210, and it was a slow process, but we lost. We're over 16 weeks at this point, but we lost probably 10 the first 16. And now we're down another 4 or 5. So that's pretty good progress there. If we were to look at body fat, we see that this is going down. We started at like 20 or so. Hold up. We started at like 19, 20. Now we're down to 14 today. Lean mass is up here too. So we were able to put on, I know this chart is like a little wonky, but if we look at your in-body scans, we'll see that you actually were able to lose fat while building muscle, which I think is pretty cool. A lot of people have that goal and they feel like you can't accomplish both those things at the same time. And I say in most cases it's really tough, but you can if you're focused on the right things. So transitioning to that, what are some things? So obviously you saw great results in the first 16 weeks and we're going to keep that going, but what are some things that you've learned so far about your fitness? Because one of the things I'm really like passionate about and really keen on when working with you guys is like, I don't want you guys to just get results. I do want you guys to take things away and learn things about the process to keep your head on straight. So what would you say are some things you've learned just along the journey?
What's measured is managed.
Oh, here we go.
So logging everything and getting in a habit of logging everything like clockwork, whether I have I sneak a little meal in behind Dallas's back, I log that shit still though. But then before you know it, like as you're logging everything, like you can see the progression, and then based on what's been measured, it's really easy to duplicate it. So like with logging my food and then spending that little bit of extra time in the morning, going on those walks and going to bed a half hour early, which isn't killing me, right? Getting up a little bit earlier to hit that walk up, like boom, my day is like, I'm on fire, dude. Like a force to be reckoned with, not to toot my own horn, but I'm fucking killing the game, and it's a direct reflection and a result of how I treat my body, and then like the punishment that I put it through, to get the results that I have today. And if we don't take care of ourselves, how do we take care of anybody else, right?
Yeah. And also you're not somebody who was like crazy out of shape when we first started. Like you still had a sense of going to the gym somewhat consistently and eating right. Like you knew what clean, healthy eating looks like. So I know it wasn't like this, hey, I'm in the gutter type of mentality, but also like, it sounds like it's not about how bad it was. It's just like, how much better could it be? It sounds like also having a ritual, obviously energy plays a part in that, but having some type of ritual, like you getting up before the sun is up and going on a walk or doing your workout and just doing a lot of the hard things before most people go to work. I mean, I'm sure that feels great in terms of how you're able to perform and show up for everyone else who needs, showing up, like you said, showing up for yourself to show up for other people.
And then
Sorry,
January, you and I, we started this cut because I set a new goal that was see what 10% body fat looks like on purpose by April 22nd. And since we started and put that goal in place, which was like January 3rd, since then I'm down like 10 pounds, which is freaking crazy, life-changing. And 2 months down 10 pounds, like, and I'm still going, I'm still shedding. So like, come April, I can't wait to post the after picture in there, Dallas, because that's going to be dope. I ain't never seen myself look like that. Not on purpose, at least,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we've all gotten sick and lost 10 pounds before, but it's not the same, right? But no, I mean, yeah, like your after pictures are good. Let's see the after pictures in a couple months. But there's still progress to be made. And we're gonna go on a bulk after that and try to put on some more size because that's a personal goal you have. But another thing stood out too. Would you say that writing that goal down and like putting focus and attention towards it has helped too? Because I think a lot of people set the New Year's goals, right? January just passed. They'll say it one time or they'll post about it one time. They'll write it down one time and they never revisit it. So what happens 3 weeks into the new year? Damn, I kind of forgot what I was working towards. And now other things that are seemingly more important in my life take a priority. And the first thing to go on the back seat is on the back burner rather is fitness and health or whatever. Even though that was a goal you said you had January 1st, so would you say that writing it down and kind of like committing to it has helped a little bit?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%. And then too, like, I mean, having you in my back pocket too has been helpful as well, because like a lot of times whenever I'm just out here on an island all by myself, like I can let myself get away with a whole lot, but
you're a salesman, bro. You'll buy your bullshit. You'll buy
all day long, but I can't throw no bullshit at you because you'll tell me how it is. Like, yeah, bro, you got to cut that shit out.
I mean, you almost got me a couple times. They see the thing. I work with a lot of guys in sales and run businesses. They're better at sales than I am. So sometimes I'll be like, damn, you got a good point. Nah, wait. I gotta like wake up. but nah, all jokes aside, yeah, for sure. I mean, having that accountability and just somebody to bounce ideas off of for you, like when you're just kind of doing it by yourself, I know what that feels like because I used to try to write my own programs. And I remember even though I know what I'm doing, I would always justify why I did or didn't do something. I didn't feel like going today. So, I'll just do this tomorrow, or I'll try to make some bullshit up and twist the word salad into making myself be right, but at the same time, not doing what I'm supposed to. So I hear what you're saying, man.
And then tomorrow, like never comes, bro. Tomorrow. And then before you know it, a year passes. And like, I mean, today is like the time is now. Like, let's go, baby.
Yeah. And you've been locked in. I mean, I guess I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel like we had a conversation about like, this 4 or 5 month stretch, probably the most consistent we've been in a while. We're seeing good results. So
100%.
So where would you say you're at now, like fitness wise? I know I just showed the charts and all that, the pictures are looking good. We dropped some body fat, we put on some muscle. Like in your own words, where would you say you're at health and fitness wise?
I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my entire life.
Damn, in only a few months, man.
Flat out. I mean, no, for real. I mean, I've had body fat percentage maybe as low as this, maybe. I don't remember it because I never logged it or measured it, right? But now that I'm logging and measuring everything and I'm seeing the progress because of the pictures and our one-on-ones back and forth, and I can see the body fat going, my measurements going, losing 2.5 inches off my waist, like all that, like being able to see it, like then just like it further, what's the word?
Confirms it.
Confirms like I am doing the
Validate
right. Yeah, validate, exactly.
That's the word, dude. Yeah. That's such a good point. And it's back to your point before, right? Like we're talking about tracking your food and tracking your workouts. Now we're talking about tracking the actual progress. What gets measured gets managed. A lot of people have this issue with like, I don't want to step on the scale every day, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to take pictures. Like a lot of that's triggering to a lot of people. And I understand that, but how do we really know we're making progress? Like if we're not tracking it? And I think just simply tracking that not only makes you more mindful of doing the things that get you there, like getting on the scale every day is feedback. Okay, I forgot I'm on this health journey. Like, let me keep going in the right direction and doing what I'm supposed to do on a daily basis. But also, like you said, it validates that you're actually making progress. I know a lot of people who give up too soon on their fitness goals because they don't think they're making progress, but they actually are. It's just they're not tracking it, so they don't realize it because the changes are very small in terms of results. Like you're not going to just drop 5 pounds in a week and look completely different. Like it's going to be a pound at a time, and it may not look different in the mirror, but if you were looking at the trend of your weight or your measurements every week or how your clothes are fitting, you were paying attention to that stuff and taking pictures on a monthly basis. Even if the changes are small, that would be enough validation for you to say, oh, this shit is working. Like, let me lean into this a little bit more. You know what I mean? And I think that's such a powerful thing in terms of tracking progress. So hopefully I get somebody out there to think about it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, all good stuff in terms of the progress. What about like maybe on the mental, emotional side? Like that's obviously all physical, right? Losing the body fat, putting on some muscle. Any changes there? Any wins you've noticed?
I mean, like the way we perceive ourselves, I mean, reflects our confidence, you know what I mean? And how we stand tall in a crowd or whenever our one-on-ones with, you know, conversations or whatever, you know, like you're not like cowering because of X, Y, and Z. Like you can stand tall because like, you know, you're doing the best and being the best you that you can be and like doing your job every day in terms of like, I walk, log my food, do my little workout, do some cardio here and there, right? It just increases confidence. And I feel pretty good, bro. I feel on fire. Not to toot my own horn or like sound like an egotistical fucking maniac, you know, but I feel good, bro. Like I'm ready to take on the world. Like throw it at me. I'll take it down.
So the way you just broke that down, it sounds like it's less about like, I think people think like getting in the gym and confidence is all about having the look. And yeah, of course that plays a part. Like when you look better, you feel better and, you know, you're more confident in your physique and all that, you know, wearing different clothes, you strutting around on the beach, whatever. But what I got from that on more of the like the mental side is you said when I wake up and I know I went on my walk, I know I tracked my food, I know I hit my workout. To me, that's like keeping your word to yourself. And when you keep your word to yourself, you're going to be more confident because you're always being aligned with who you say you are. Like if you say you value health and you actually act in alignment with that, you're going to be more confident elsewhere because you're giving yourself validation every day that you are who you say you are. Whereas you're saying things like, yeah, I value my health or I value this. And then you kind of intermittently focused on it. Of course, you're not going to feel as confident in yourself because you're like, I don't even keep my word to myself. How can I keep that to somebody else? You know, so I think just without saying it, that was a pretty big takeaway for me, just hearing that. Just knowing that you're doing these things every day, whether the results show up right away or not, at least you know that you're moving in the right direction. You're aligned with that. So of course you're going to feel like you can take on the world because, I proved to myself before 9 o'clock that I am who I say I am, so big takeaway there.
Yep. And Dallas, like for anybody that's listening in, like it's okay to be a beast at the game. It's okay to say that you're a freaking badass and that you're going to go win the day. Like it's okay. And matter of fact, you should be saying these things to yourself, so like, I mean, and all that. And then whenever you put in the work and you see the progress, it's like a win-win. It's like, hallelujah. Like I'm doing something and it's working. And Dallas, what the coolest thing about it is? Like, we're all powerless over many things, people, places, things, circumstances, the way people see us, all X, Y, and Z. But like the way we look, and feel about ourselves, like we can change that and we have the power to do so. And that's like super cool how you can mold yourself however you want to be. You just put in a little work, find somebody that can guide you through the process, and then boom, before you know it, you're at least at the game too.
You're looking like Corey, man. But it's one of the very few things we have control over, like how we perceive things and how we react and what we put on our body and how we move our body, like how we look. That's something we have full control over. And that kind of reminds me of another thing. Like a lot of people I talk to, they almost have a level of shame around certain goals. Like everybody thinks they need this life-changing reason to want to get in shape. Like, oh, I want longevity for my family and this and that. And I'm not saying that's wrong. Like, of course you want those things, but sometimes I feel like people are given the politically correct answer, and it's okay to just have some vain goals. Like they'll almost preface their goals by saying, hey, I don't want to sound vain, but I want to look good in my suits, or I want a six pack, or I want to look a certain way that I've never looked before, better than my 20s, because I want other dads to look at me and say, hey, that's the Jack dad, and we're all like out of shape kind of thing. Like it's okay to say, I mean, with me, it's a safe space. It's okay to like have that goal. You don't have to like carry shame around that. Like if that's what you want, then that's what you want. So I just want to say that because a lot of people come to me with goals and they're like almost ashamed of it. And I think shame attracts more guilt, and then it causes you to self-sabotage because you're not really bought into your own goal, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. In Dallas, like we're just kind of talking about like through our workings together, it hasn't only been about just go and working out and eat this food. Like we talk a whole lot about mindset too, and like how we perceive things, like not taking things personal, et cetera, et cetera. Like we talk a whole lot about mindset too, and like the intent of what we say outside of our mouths. Our body reassures it and you hear it. So like then it's like, yeah, you are. Whenever you talk negative about yourself, you rehear that. So like we're constantly just like affirming the thought that we had. But you and I, we go back and forth with mindset talk all the time, and it's super helpful.
Yeah, no, I mean it's all love. It's all organic too. Like I don't come to the call with like, hey, we're gonna talk about that today, but it kind of just comes up and like our daily interaction. You'll be telling me about something that happened at work and vice versa, and I'm like, it'll just kind of evolve into that type of conversation. But I do think that's the cool part about community in terms of like having people come from like a similar background or, you know, similar career path or entrepreneurs or whatever. We all kind of have people we look up to and thought leaders that we listen to. So we can bring similar ideas and exchange that, and ends up being a good conversations as opposed to just having a bunch of people who can't relate on anything and getting together on a group call. And like, that's kind of the vibe. So no, I appreciate you bringing that up as well. On that note, do you have any, or what piece of advice would you have for somebody who was probably in your shoes, I guess, 4 or 5 months ago, like maybe confused about what to do with your health and fitness goals? Like you feel like you're doing all the right things, but you're just not getting to that next level. You're not consistent. You struggle with that all or nothing mentality. Like, what would you say to the Corey of 5 months ago if you had to give him a piece of advice?
I would have told him, if I can take it back a year, right? I would have told him like, you should have pulled the trigger and asked Dallas for help back then.
So that's a cop out, man.
I mean, no, for real though. I mean, it's like, if you don't invest in yourself, like who is? Like, you know, like I feel like if you want to do something like, and you don't have a clear path, you know, or somebody to back you up, you know, to like, you know, to cheer you on and root you on and ask you if you're winning or if you're losing or how I can help, like that accountability, dude, like it's unmeasurable, you know, like there's no dollar amount that you can add up to it in terms of like, you know, what it does for you. So like, I would say enroll, you know, or have a conversation with Dallas and see what it looks like. Right. And then if it makes sense, go for it. If it doesn't make sense, go for it, you know, and then thank me later. Right. I'll see you on the group call and we'll fucking win together. Cause like, you don't have to go at this alone. And now I know that for sure. Cause like on the group calls, like that's a team effort. Like we're all out here trying to win, and we poke each other. I'm hitting Zach up and Ryan up, you know, we're always messing with each other too. Like, did you do X, Y, and Z? And then two guys, it's real cool too when you can hit Dallas up. Like, yeah, bro, why don't you level up on your bicep curls this week? And
yeah, you did challenge me. Yeah, you pushed me in a couple ways. I'm over here doing 60s and 70s, realizing, damn, I could be going for more. So y'all are kind of elevating me because of the mindset you guys have, and that's why I like to surround myself with people who are doing well and you know, have a similar mentality, right? So y'all helping me in a way. Like I wouldn't have gone for 80s that day in the gym if I hadn't had that conversation with you. But no, all that to say, like, yeah, a sense of community. And Corey, you're definitely somebody who's a giver. I see you checking up on other guys and posting on your story and calling people out. Like that's like a strong leadership quality. So definitely appreciate all that you contribute. And other than that, man, I appreciate your time here today. Anybody who's watching, comment any takeaways below if you had any. Same thing if you're watching on the replay. And I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to go ahead and end it here.
Thanks, Dallas.